When you tell somebody that you're too broke to live in New York City, I bet you expect an empathetic response, right? Well, lately there's been a lot of people saying, move out.
New York is so unaffordable. It is not your God-given right to live in one of the most desirable cities to live in on earth. New York is affordable to some people, otherwise it would cease to exist as a city. If you can't afford to live in New York, then maybe you shouldn't live in one of the most expensive cities to live in on earth.
You do not have a right to live in some of the most desirable cities on earth just because you want to live there. You only have a right to live places that you can afford to live in. If you can't afford to live in a certain city or a certain area, you have to move. The world doesn't have to adjust to you because you can't keep up with your area. You have to adjust to the world. It's not fair that the community around you has to pay for you to live in an area that you can't afford to live in and that you refuse to catch up to. I don't care how long you've been in an area, you aren't entitled to live there if you can't afford it. If you can't keep up with an area, you need to move to an area that you can keep up with.
Since when was moving out free? Let's not be dumb here, and let's use our brains for a little bit. If a place is too expensive for someone to live in, what makes you think they have the money to move out? A lot of people in New York City cannot afford basic necessities. A lot of people in New York City work multiple jobs. A lot of people in New York City cannot afford rent. A lot of people in New York City are priced out. You know where I'm going with this. So why are we giving this disingenuous and dishonest response by saying move out? Now, I don't know if it's because some people have just lost touch with reality, or it's because everyone is starting to subscribe to this me, all for myself, everyone else mentality. But it is really troubling that we are starting to see this as a normal response. You can't afford New York City? Get out. Move out. If it were that easy to pick up all of our belongings and our entire life, so to speak, don't you think we all would? The next time someone tells me, move out, I'm going to send them a GoFundMe so they can fund my trip out of New York City permanently. Because this sort of response is not only so dishonest and not helpful, but it's also, in my opinion, borderline sociopathic. Because how are you telling people that are basically saying, we cannot afford to live, we cannot afford to exist? How's your response basically like, who cares, move out? And essentially, this is what a lot of people have been told online when they give their grievances about cities like New York when they can't afford them anymore. And it's just truly a shame that we together are doing this to each other. While, of course, a small upper elite continues to thrive and move to New York City, displacing tons of people that have been here for generations out. And sure, you may not have a problem with people that are native to a city moving out, but it does start to affect the culture and the identity of a city when historic bars, nightclubs, restaurants, and so many other venues are shutting down forever because they are being priced out by the exorbitant rent prices. We have already lost so many restaurants and so many places in New York City as a result of COVID casualties, and this is only going to get worse as the rents continue to explode in New York City. So now imagine if whole ass businesses and corporations are moving out of New York City because they refuse to pay the rent here because it's so expensive. What makes you think the average Joe can keep up with that and stay in the city and maintain that? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? There is zero logic in telling somebody that already has no money to do something that requires money to get out of the situation they're in. A lot of you think it's so easy to just pick up your entire life and move out. There are people that have so much history in New York City. They just can't just get everything all at once and move out. Where are they going to go? Please let me know. Where are they going to go? Write it down in the comments down below because I would love to know so I can go there myself. A lot of us are too broke to live in New York City, but a lot of us are also too broke to move out. And it's just the unfortunate reality where it's like we're in this double-edged sword zero-sum game type situation, catch-22 situation, so to speak, where we're just stuck here. We have to be here and continue running the rat race and basically trying to keep up with our expenses that basically leave us living paycheck to paycheck, because a lot of things here require a lot of money, such as rent, food, and so forth. And of course, in New York City, the salaries may be a little bit higher to the national average, but in reality, that difference is diminished when we think about how much we spend for just existing here, for essential goods and essential needs that we need to survive on a day-to-day basis. So I don't understand this whole logic of telling people to move out. This city was not meant to be only for the rich. This city was not meant to be only for people that make $300,000 a year. This city was never intended to be only for a certain class. This logic doesn't make any sense. If you push out all the middle class and lower class people to only make a city for the rich, who's going to do the janitorial work? Who's going to be the custodian? Who's going to be the teacher? Who's going to be the nurse? Tell me. I really would like to know. Are you going to bust them in from the nearby city or state? None of this logic makes any sense to me. It should be a fundamental right for there to be enough affordable housing for lower and middle class people. There should not even be a housing crisis in New York City. None of this reality that we exist in should be the way that it is. And so when people ask for change, this is what they mean. But you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people that are fine with the way things are going. And I really don't understand how. Do they have their heads in the sand? Like, the city around us is crumbling. It's losing its identity. It's losing its culture. It's losing its soul because it's being ripped apart by greed, by corporate greed, by greed in general. And so when you tell people that have contributed so much to a place to just move out, it's just a slap in the face. It's an insult, and you are just clearly out of touch with the times, because so many people would love to just move out, would love to just leave. Who's going to fund their trip, though? Who's going to find a new place for them to live, though? Where are they going to go, though? All the surrounding areas of New York City have just become almost as exorbitantly expensive as New York itself, such as Jersey City, Westchester County, Long Island. So where are they going to go? Please stop falling victim to this propaganda that people who can't afford to live somewhere should automatically be expulsed out of a city or a place. That is just completely abnormal, and it should not be this way at all. People who are in such situations need assistance. They need assistance to be able to continue living here and not just survive, but also thrive, and unfortunately, we can't have a city for the rich only, because we need people of different classes to contribute to the city together. That's how things operate in a society. We have the poor, the middle class, and the rich. This is how it works under the capitalistic system that a lot of people love, that this country loves. So when we're only trying to cater to a certain class, how on earth does that make any sense? So yes, I too am somebody that's too broke for New York, but also too broke to move out of New York. And I am somebody that has multiple jobs, works side gigs and side incomes to make ends meet, is still currently looking for another job, is applying to jobs every day, and still is in debt. Isn't that lovely? And so, of course, when people tell me that I'm lazy or not a hard worker or I don't try hard enough because I'm in this situation, it's truly insulting and disgusting to me, because no one can tell you these things unless they're in your shoes. But people are just so quick to judge and criticize. They can't comprehend it because, again, unless they're in that situation themselves, they don't think it's real, or they think the person is at fault. Just basic, typical victim blaming, so to speak. And it's truly tired. And I wish a lot of people would just wake up and realize that poor people are not the enemy, that the middle class is not the enemy, and that everyone is just trying to do their best. And unfortunately, not everyone can make $300,000 a year. Not everyone can be a millionaire. Not everyone can be part of the 1%. So just please take these things into consideration if you're one of those people that believes these type of things. Anyways, that's all I had to say for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this topic. Are you also somebody that lives in a city that you're too broke for? Please let me know below in the comments because I love to hear from you guys. And until next time, see you around. Bye.